watching and analyzing the players from the 2021 draft class, so the rookies from this season, has definitely been really interesting, and we definitely have an exciting class this year coming into the league. Most of them have performed pretty well, and I think this class overall definitely does have quite a little bit of potential to excel in the NBA. And like it says in the title of today's video, I'm going to be basically giving a grade to every single one of the top 10 draft picks from the 2021 draft. So looking back at these picks so far this season, how have these players performed, and how good of a pick did the team make in the top 10 of the draft this season? So with that being said, let's get into the grades for the top 10. First off, we got the Pistons, who of course selected Cade Cunningham, and I'm going to give them an A on this one. This might be an A- or maybe even a B+ if we're just basing it off what Cade has done this season, but I think still he has tons of potential and that he's going to improve a lot throughout his career as well. And at the time of the draft, of course, Cade was kind of that consensus number one pick, and for a good reason. And this year he has showed his glimpses of being a very good playmaker, a pretty good interior scorer, and a good defender as well. I mean, his 6'6" height at the point guard position allows him to do things defensively that not a lot of other guards in the NBA can do, and from what I've seen from him this year, watching him on the court, he's been a very good and pretty underrated defender, so I really like that part of his game. And then offensively, he's shown his ability to have a good handle, create his own shot, be a pretty good playmaker. He is averaging 5 assists per game this season. His shooting has been a little bit inconsistent. At times he's shown a good jump shot, but overall for the year he's only shooting about 40% from the field and 32% from 3, and definitely got off to a rough start shooting the ball, especially from long range. But that's something that I think is going to improve in his game. His interior scoring has been pretty good, and overall he is averaging 16 points per game and definitely has put himself into that Rookie of the Year conversation. Next up, we got Jalen Green, who of course was selected with the 2nd overall pick by the Houston Rockets, and I'm going to give them a C+ for this one here. This might be higher than what a lot of you guys might give him, or lower. It's kind of a tough one because, again, he does have a lot of potential, and I think he will definitely improve, but so far this year, we know that Jalen Green's play style is really just that pure score mentality, and he hasn't really fit into his role that well with the Rockets so far this year. Their offense is really disorganized. I think that would kind of be the best way to describe it, and he just hasn't really fit into a good, comfortable role, but I think he will probably fit into that when he continues to develop and mature as a player and really eventually becomes hopefully the number one option on this team a couple years down the road. So far this season, like I mentioned, he's just been inconsistent, inefficient, only shooting 38.5% from the field and only a 51.5% true shooting, both of these well below average in the league right now, but he has shown glimpses of potential for sure. He is an electric finisher at the rim. He does a great job of shooting shots off the dribble in the mid-range and three-point area. Overall has averaged about 15 points per game this season, and like I mentioned, just has a lot of potential, and this is a guy who potentially could be averaging anywhere from 25 to 30 points per game in the prime of his career, and like I said, just has a lot of overall potential. With the 3rd pick, the Cavs selected Evan Mobley, and as of right now, he's probably the front runner for Rookie of the Year. As a Raptors fan, I'm hoping Scottie can take it by the end of the year, but if we're being honest, Mobley is the front runner as of right now, and he's just played his role really well for the Cavs this year, and I'm going to give the Cavs an A+ for this draft pick here. In my original mock draft, I actually did have Mobley going 2nd over Jalen Green, and in hindsight, so far that definitely looks like the right decision, and if the Rockets did that, they'd probably be in a little bit of a better position right now, but Mobley's just been incredible this year. It was really interesting to see him fit in with Jarrett Allen and Lauri Markkanen as well, and kind of see this tall ball lineup from the Cavs, and I would like to see him just try to develop that three-point shot a little bit more, but so far he definitely has been a very good scorer, putting up about 15 points per game on 50% from the field. He's a good lob threat, good on the pick and roll offensively, has that nice little floater, does great work inside of the post offensively, is a good passer for his position, and is a very versatile defender, a great rim protector, and overall one of the better defenders in the NBA right now. And like I said, he's probably the Rookie of the Year if the season ended today. With the 4th pick, the Raptors Raptors selected Scottie Barnes, and I'm going to give them an A for this pick, especially because all of us expected them to take Jalen Suggs, and they went with Scottie, and they're looking like geniuses for doing that right now. It's not an A+ because recently Scottie's been hitting just a little bit of that rookie wall, and this is especially because he's not exactly getting as big a role with guys like Fred and Pascal really getting their roles kind of boosted at this point in the season. But throughout the year, Scottie's played his role really well and even shown glimpses of being like a star caliber player. When it comes to his scoring, his jump shot's been a little bit inconsistent, but overall he is putting up about 15 points per game on 48% from the field and about 54% true shooting. He also has like that nice little floater inside the paint. He's a good back to the basket player, good post player, great interior scorer. He's got a little bit of that mid-range shot. He's very good in transition, a great playmaker for his position, kind of plays that point forward type of role sometimes, and defensively he's also been pretty good. He's definitely not been as good defensively as Evan Mobley has, but he still has shown his versatility, how he can defend 1 through 5 and match up with the best player of the other team sometimes. So he's really been a great addition to my Raptors this year, and I've been thrilled from what I've seen from Scottie. With the 5th pick, the Magic selected Jalen Suggs, and again, I think this is a guy with some potential, but he just hasn't had a good start to his NBA career, and so far I'm going to give the Magic a C for this pick right here. And like I said, I'm definitely glad the Raptors did not pick Jalen Suggs in this year's draft because he really did get off to a slow start. His shot selection has been a little bit off throughout the year, and his overall scoring ability has not been what a lot of people thought it would be. And at one point, he had the very lowest field goal percentage in the NBA, and since he did come back from injury, he's been a little bit better, but he still is only shooting 36.5% from the field so far this year. But he has shown glimpses of having definitely a high basketball IQ, being a good overall playmaker. He is averaging almost 4.5 assists now in the year, and like I said, he's been a lot better since he came back from his injury, and I do hope to see him continue to improve throughout this season. With the 6th pick, the OKC Thunder selected Josh Giddey, and I'm going to give them a B+ for this one here. I almost gave them an A-, but his weaknesses have shown a little bit throughout this year, but he definitely has been promising and showed lots of potential and is definitely the best playmaker in this draft. At least he's shown that so far. So far this year, he's averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds, and about 6.5 assists, and like I said, his overall playmaking has really shown. He has had a couple of triple-doubles this season, and his overall playmaking has been great. He does a fantastic job of finding open teammates. He has great court vision. He has good feel in the pick and roll. He does a great job of running that play, but his outside shooting has definitely been down, and a lot of people did expect this. He's shooting only about 26% from 3, and his overall efficiency has been down, but his defense as well has shown to be pretty decent, and overall he's shown glimpses of being really good, but he hasn't really been that consistent, so that's why I'm giving the Thunder a B+ here. But I think he definitely will be kind of the main point guard for this team going into their future, and he's shown definitely glimpses of being special this season. Next up, we got Jonathan Kuminga, who was selected 7th by the Warriors, and I'm actually going to give them a B for this pick here. A lot of you might have this a little bit lower, but the reason I'm doing this is he just hasn't really gotten that much of an opportunity to play a lot with this team. He's only averaging 15 minutes per game this season, but in the time that he has played, he definitely has played his role really well. The Warriors are stacked, so he's not able to get a lot of minutes, but he has come off the bench and done a good job of being a lob threat at times, playing down low offensively, being a good player in the post, creating his own shot down there sometimes, and he has been able to average 8 points per game on 50% shooting from the field, and also shown that he's been a pretty decent defender as well this year, and that's where a lot of his value comes, is defensively. And like I said, overall he has played his role well. He hasn't really shown anything and potential of being like a special player, but I think he does have potential and he will improve as his career goes on, and I think B is just the mark that definitely best overall suits this situation with Kuminga and the Warriors so far this year. Next up, we got Franz Wagner, who was selected 8th overall by the Magic, and I'm going to give them an A here. This is a guy who has been in the Rookie of the Year conversation at times this year, and at the time, he was definitely the best overall pick on the board for the Magic, and they pretty much made up for their Jalen Suggs selection with selecting Franz here. I mean, so far this year, he's definitely shown to be an efficient and versatile overall player, really on both ends of the floor. Defensively, he's pretty good. He can defend on ball and off ball, and defend pretty much all the positions except for the 5-man. And then offensively, he's shown that he can play on the ball, create his own shot, be an efficient scorer. He can play off the ball. He can be a decent passer, a decent rebounder, and overall this season, scoring wise, he's averaging almost 16 points per game on 46.5% from the field, 35.5% from 3, and 84.5% from the free throw line, which are definitely pretty good splits for a small forward rookie. So overall, he has definitely had a good year, an underrated year, and the Magic definitely made the best possible pick that they could at this spot in the draft. With the 9th pick, the Kings selected Davion Mitchell, and I'm going to give them a B- for this one. Offensively, Mitchell definitely hasn't been good so far this season, has pretty much been a little bit under expectations. He's only putting up 10 points per game and pretty good minutes and only shooting about 40% from the field, but he definitely has shown his defensive dominance and potential a lot throughout this season. He's definitely showing that he can be the best on-ball defender on this Kings team, and they did draft to their needs. They needed defense, and they got Davion Mitchell, who will be kind of their defensive specialist, I'm hoping, and maybe develop into a decent offensive player throughout his career as well. But he can basically be kind of that player for the future of their franchise, which is good, which is why this grade is higher than maybe some of you might have. So overall, I do expect big things from Mitchell in the future. I was very high on him, and I think he will improve offensively and continue to improve and show his defensive dominance. And then lastly, for the top 10, we've got the Grizzlies here with the 10th pick. They selected Zaire Williams, and I'm going to give them a C for this one. I mean, at least so far, he hasn't really shown a lot of potential in the NBA level so far. The Grizzlies did trade up to get this pick, and so far Zaire Williams is averaging about 8-2-1 this year on about 55% true shooting in about 22 minutes per game. And I haven't exactly watched a lot of them, but he is coming off of the bench and not exactly having a huge impact so far in his NBA career. I mean, he does have some potential, and like I said, with a lot of these guys, we do have to give them some time to develop, but so far at this point in the 2021 season, he hasn't really exactly shown a lot. He definitely hasn't been a complete bust, but at this point, I think C best represents the draft that the Grizzlies had, selecting him with the 10th pick. So there you have it. That's the end of today's video. Those are my draft grades for the top 10 picks of the 2021 NBA draft. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts on today's video, your thoughts on these players, and anything that you would change about my grades. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all next video.